we know a couple things. Number one, there is an increase in mental health issues with kids. It is not limited to O&J. We know that our time start, we haven't changed in decades. So to assume that it's directly related and solely related to time start is wrong. And number three, I know what some parents think, and forgive me for this, the degree, the amount of homework that is required is not fundamentally different. The nature of it might change, the way in which we deliver it might change, but the amount of homework fundamentally hasn't changed. And if you're taking an AP course, it's a lot more than a CP. That's the nature. We know those three things. My fear as a teacher is that we have for 4 years talked as if the only thing that matters about student health is start time, while we completely ignore all the other issues which directly relate to student health. We should not be so limited in our focus. You need to broaden the scope of our inquiry to things that we know and things that we don't know, and let's solve the problem not by assuming changing the start time is going to relieve us of our burden, because it will not.
So
Thank you.
I did mention that. I think there's a lot of work that we can do. That's not going to cost anything.
Thank you. Yes.
So I was going to make a statement, and I'll make a little bit part of it, but I texted my daughter and I said, I'm not going to talk because it seems like the board is kind of doing what I thought you should do, which is plan something better. And she texted me back and she said, no, you have to speak because I am tired. And she is definitely in favor of a later start time. I agree that the current plan is, in my statement I referred to it as milquetoast. It doesn't satisfy anyone or anything. My mom was on school board for years and years and years, and she had this saying embroidered that she hung on a bulletin board next to her phone, and it said, God so loved the world that he did not send a committee. And, and that's how she operated, and I think that we are at the point now where the public has weighed in. We know, thanks to a not always very nice Facebook page, as well as all of the wonderful things run by Dr. Marchini and having Dr. Troxell come and having Cheryl spearhead this for 4 or 5 years, we know what everybody's issues are. And so I think it's now time for the board to do kind of what Mr. Miner was saying. You guys need to step up and use it as a board, say, okay, we're going to support this, we're going to see how we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, we're going to do the best thing for everyone. So I actually disagree with you, Mr. Rod. I do think that the start time will help. I think it will help all of the students for it to be delayed, and I think that you need to think. Yes, and I agree it's not the only thing, but it is one thing that is possible to do, and it doesn't have to cost $1 million. I think that there are some ideas that have been put forth that showed that, and I just think that in this day and age, the world is very different than it was decades ago. People work around the clock. I usually start work at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm working at 2 to 3 in the morning, and then when my kids get up at 6:30, I got to make sure they get out the door, and I'm also tired. But it's not about me. But what I am saying is that I am liking what I'm hearing, that the board is now going to start making some more directed plans as to how to make this work, because I do believe that in the next few years it's going to be mandated anyway, or there's all the other schools are going to be doing it, and you don't, in the same way that maybe you don't want to be the first, you also don't want to be the last person who therefore has no more negotiating power to do anything in order to get what you want financially. I don't want to see taxes go up. I mean, not an idiot, but I would like to see my children be as educated as they can possibly be, and I think sometimes they're too tired to pay attention. And I just am glad to see that at least the board shows in a consensus sort of form that you guys are willing to really get to the nitty-gritty of this and make it happen in a way that works for everyone. And I applaud that.
I think what's different you'll see with this board is that the full board is interested.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
I do think we should acknowledge that part of stepping up means the answer may be no.
Yeah.
So not to disappoint anybody, but to set the level. When you say you want to look at facts and data, that can fall either way.
Right.
But Carl, can you, I get distracted when you said that, but are you guys going to do anything like that doesn't cost money, like homework policy or block scheduling, You brought Twin Valley here tonight, they have block scheduling in the middle school. So other things that
I
like that could do
am one
something.
person, I'm very interested in all of the things that are possibilities, and I feel like this really got it down to two. So, let's see that, I'm sorry, there's a hand up back there.
Everybody mentioned Radnor School District. I lived in Radnor 3 or 4 times over the years. The density there is like this, 20 times. The density of your, I mean, comparing that is, and I can remember, I walked most of the roads in Radnor Township, but I would say 60% where there's people have sidewalks, all that stuff. I can't remember when I see a sidewalk in North Coventry. And the little ones they have aren't connected.
They didn't go anywhere.
We saw that.
Is there anybody back there? I'm sorry.
I think my hope for you guys is that when you do bring forth something and it has to do with a decision that is going to affect elementary through high school, that you look at all of the children being affected and not just the high school or the middle school students, because as an elementary parent, you know, my kid is tired at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and doesn't work as well in the afternoon as she does in the morning time. And so I haven't really heard anyone really say anything about how this affects the elementary student as a delayed start. So I really hope that that is part of your findings too.
So first, thank you to all of you guys and everybody here. I mean, this is a very hot topic right now for everybody, and I know we're all passionate about this. So I know it's not easy, right? There's no good decisions in this whole thing. So thank you for everybody that participated in this. But the one thing that I've noticed kind of coming in as a later person, everybody is very set on their way. You're either for or against, and you're really not, there's not a lot of people that are willing to actually have discussions on this. So I would like for everybody to at least just open your minds, open your hearts, understand that everybody is looking at this from their child's perspective. I have mine with me, who should be in bed right now. So we came from basketball practice specifically for this. You know, obviously I want to do what's best for my children, but my children may not represent the larger majority, right? So I may have to sacrifice in order for other people to benefit from this. So I just ask that everybody kind of keep an open heart, open mind, and really kind of try to understand from other people's perspective what is really going on. If you work at night, if you work at night and you know you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning with your child, I understand why you want late start. I get it.
But that's not the only reason.
Understood,
So, yeah.
understood. But I get that,
Yeah.
right? And I can understand that. But is that what's best for the rest of the children? I'm not sure, right? Like that's what this is really, that really is the heart of this whole question is, what's best for the whole school district? And I really applaud you guys. You know, I can see kind of coming late how, you know, there's some friction between the community and you guys. And, you know, I as I'm learning and getting to know more about you guys, I do see what you do and I understand where you're coming from. And I do trust you guys. I believe that there's a really good mix there on the table that's going to really kind of make the best decision for us. So thank you for that as a whole.
Any objection to ending on trust and applause? So we can actually get on to the next meeting. Everybody know. Any folks that are, well, your folks that have to stick around, or you want to stick around, but is anybody burning to talk more, or can we move on to the actual official meeting?
I have one more thing. And maybe you guys know more about this, but if the state mandates that we do move start time, doesn't that come with funding so that? Some other states do get funding for busing when it's mandated.
No, that's unfortunately.
Right now, the over-under is extremely high.
Without objection. Okay, without objection, we are adjourned. This committee's all meeting. Does anybody need a break? Oh, look, wait, just that. We're